All right, hello everyone. Welcome to our video on leader types, the legacy boons, and the legacy kind of quests. I'm just going to give a general overview so we don't have many spoilers, but here we go. So, leader types, there are 4 leader types you can have. There is the builder, the sheriff, the trader, and the warlord. The builder focuses on making things. Their leader project is a sniper tower, which gives you, it's basically a buffed up watchtower. It has an activatable where it even reduces your threat even more when you use it, and it lasts for a certain amount of time. Their large facility they can build is a luxury barracks 2, which gives 5 beds and plus morale. And they can make generator 3 with that only costs half fuel and generates no noise. Now, the other big thing about the builder is their legacy boon. Their legacy boon is the best legacy boon in a game. When you have it, you have always water and power at your base. So that's pretty much a guaranteed best thing to get and to have and choose. Because you don't need to use any outpost slot for those or build like generators, solar arrays, or anything like that to provide power or water to your base. That is why it's pretty much going to be best in slot, because you're guaranteed to not have to use those things. You can use them for something else. Then we have the sheriff. The sheriff is all about law and order and things like that. They have the field hospital. It's basically an infirmary 3 kind of on steroids. They have the lounge 3, which is very, very good. It allows you to use training videos to train all skills at once for your community. It's not a great amount, but it does train cardio, fighting, shooting, wits all at the same time for a certain amount. And then we have the small facility shooting range 2. So this allows you to upgrade your shooting range to the 2nd level, and the 2nd level gives you training, being able to train wits on top of training shooting. Then we have the trader. Well, I guess I should talk about the sheriff legacy boon. The sheriff legacy boon is, what was it again? Like I said, I don't ever use the sheriff legacy boon. So let me go and charity. Receive a high pile of high quality loot from old friends one day. So you'll get a starter package containing a rage weapon, some ammo for it, a community textbook, some high tier consumables. There are 4 of these packages that you can get. So you can get like a shotgun, an M1A1 with 7.62, an Uzi 22 carbine for 22 rounds, and an AR-15 with some 5.56 ammo for it, and either a utilities, computers, mechanics, or cooking textbook you start with. And then you get daily deliveries, which is one of the following, and some snacks, some painkillers, and one of the following is not guaranteed. Or you could also get 2 items from the 4th pull. These deliveries won't contain anything from the 1st pull. So if you get none of this here, you can get 2 of these. So there you go. And that is your sheriff boon. Like I said, I don't usually use it. I always take builder and trader. But sheriff is also decent if you wish to not use like trader. But I would always choose builder, of course. And then trader is, they do all things with luxury goods and things like that. Their big thing is the leader project is a trade depot. It takes a large slot. You summon traders. They just recently nerfed this to have a 45-minute cooldown. You summon them through the radio command menu. I will be showing that off as soon as we get back in the game, which I'm pretty sure is going to be the next video. And we will it'll be in there, 45-minute cooldown, and you can buy rucksacks from them. You can call in one of each type of rucksack resource per day. 2 of them actually per day with a 45-minute cooldown because a day is 90 minutes long. Their large facility is a farm 3, which gives you +4 food per day, or you can change it to meds and get +3 meds per day. And then we have the small facility, steel 2, upgrades the steel, makes luxury items to sell. Kind of like the steels off in the brewing company on the deal that I was talking about a little bit ago. Their deal is you get 4,000 influence straight up, and a community moves into your map, and one of them will come straight to your base first thing after you claim it, and you can trade for various rucksacks from them and other items. The items are random, and the rucksacks are random of what they have. It is very nice to do that, to straight up start with a lot of influence and being able to purchase extra rucksacks to start with a good extra food or medicines and stuff like that. And so that is my second choice for the best legacy boon. Then we have the Warlord. Now, also, these people become these people that come with the trader that first show up when you get in there and claim your base. They are actually going to be an enclave that will stick around on your map. They're always automatically allied to you, so you can recruit one of them if there's someone very good in there, or you can just treat them as an extra place to go trade things at and buy things from. Then we have the Warlord. The Warlord is all about being domination and dominating the map and just killing other enclaves, really. That's their big thing. They have the Armory as their leader project, which makes them make any ammo whatsoever. The large facility, the Spartan Barracks 2, gives you 8 beds but minus morale. And the small facility is the Fighting Gym 2, which gives you training, fighting, and then the upgrade gives you train cardio. So those are that. And the legacy boon for the Warlords is basically a pile of weapons. That's pretty much it. It just gives you a pile of weapons in, I think it's automatically in your stash, or is it just a delivery? Receive a giant pile of guns, ammo, and grenades when you first settle your homes. These are the items you will be getting. You always get these. You get 2 M4A1s, a sighted M4A1, a Model 9950, 200 5.56 rounds, 30 50 AP rounds, and 20 frag grenades. So that's what you get. You will always get this, and that is all you get. That's kind of why this is the worst pick, unless you just want a ton of guns and to kill things with. Yes, so basically traders and builders are the best boon, unfortunately. They're looking into changing things around in a future update, but we've heard no definite plans about it. But they do know about the disparity of the trader and the builder boons. I don't know what they're going to do. I'm worried they're going to completely gut the builder boon or the trader boon to do this. I would like them just to buff up the sheriff and the warlord to make them equal, but I don't know how they're going to do that, if they would do that. Okay, now I'm not going to go to the legacy missions page, even though you can see it up here, because I don't want to spoil things for you. But basically, the legacy missions for the leaders, this is where you do, the way legacy missions work is you have to have a leader type of the legacy missions you want to do, and you want to get the boon for elected to your deal. Now, that does not mean you can have other leader types in your community put as leader for a little while. Say you want to get the builder legacy. Well, you can also at first or whenever put the trader legacy, trader person who has the trader legacy in first, build their trade depot, take out demote the trader person from leader, put your builder in, and then go from there. If you want to have if you want any of the warlords or sheriffs or traders or builders things, you can put them in and then take them out as leader. Do you be aware though? I'm not totally sure off the top of my head. I don't think it affects their morale, but you do lose that person's hero bonus. You have to raise their standing again to unlock their hero bonus again. That is one thing. If you demote a leader, they lose their skill. I don't think they take a morale penalty though for being demoted from leader. I don't think so. I don't remember it being a thing when I was looking, because that was one of my big concerns. Would they take a morale penalty or would something happen? And all I found was that they just lose their hero bonus. You just have to raise them up again to their hero status. So that's not a big thing. You could do that pretty quickly with a bunch of enclave quests and killing some plague hearts if there's still plague hearts around when you're doing things like that. Because you don't have to wait until you kill plague hearts to elect a leader and start making their things. You can do that even before. But their legacy missions, you have to kill all plague hearts on the map before those starts. And usually the legacy missions is things like making their leader building. So like with the builder, you have to do their leader projects. So you have to make the sniper tower, you have to make the field hospital, you have to make the trade depot, you have to make the armory. They do take into account if you've already made these things, so you should not have to deconstruct them and construct them again to make it count. As far as I know, they have that fixed. It was at one point an issue, but I think they fixed that, so you don't have to worry about that anymore. So that's one of the quests. You're always every leader type you have that's going into the legacy missions. That's pretty much one of the first things you get. So there, I guess that could be counted as a spoiler, but I don't think so. It's just the same for every leader. You just have to make their deal. Okay. And then it goes on to other types of quests. Builders are all about gathering people for a community. Traders are all about making trade connections and everything. And sheriffs are all about policing things and things like that. And Warlord is all about being dominant and saying this is the way it's going to be. Either conform or get out. Basically is Warlord. And they're all pretty fun legacy missions. I will say though, the sheriff and the warlord are the hardest ones to complete. The trader is the next hardest to complete because of their end mission, which I won't spoil for you. And then the regular builder legacy is, I think, one of the easiest to do if you can be prepared out the wazoo for the builder deal, and it's no problem. But as soon as the last mission of the legacy mission will give you a warning. Well, it used to give you a warning. I'm not sure if it does anymore. The way it used to work is before update 30 was when you go to do the last legacy mission, it will give you a warning that this is the no turnaround point. If you continue going towards the final legacy mission, you will be locked into doing that because it just all happens at once. You can't go back and do anything. So before take that warning seriously, if it still happens, I would take it still kind of seriously, but it's not as much anymore because you can continue playing if you wish to after finishing the legacy. So what happens is it gives you the warning. If you say no, you don't want to do it right now, if you're wanting to set up a legacy pool of characters, go and take all items you wish to keep and stuff it on your community members that you wish to keep. So say you have like a lot of the gun presses to make ammo. If you don't want to build an armory just to make ammo, you just want to use the gun presses, take one of your legacy people you're going to make a legacy character and stuff all of that, all the gun presses and everything that you can into their inventory. and they will have it in their inventory and be ready to take it and take it to the next community you make with them. Or now that update 30 is out, when you make a new community, you can just call them in to get all those to get all those ammo presses and things like that. So do be aware that you can do that now. Like I said, I don't know if the warning is still going to happen when you get to the last legacy mission, because now you can just continue your mission no problem. You don't have to, it doesn't end your community's running when you do the last legacy mission anymore. You can continue playing after it. So you can make a forever community. It's basically why it's called the forever community update. It allows you to play forever now. Now you could play forever before, but you could never complete the legacy mission because that just ends the game. Now you can continue after completing the legacy mission if you wish to. It will ask you to, if you wish to end your community and put people in the legacy pool, or do you want to put people in the legacy pool and continue your community on out. So that is how it does it now. It will also eventually ask if you wish to change maps. You can choose any of the bases on any map, as long as you have the number of people required and the influence cost to do it. And it will take everything in your stash and move it over. It'll be in your stash still. And it will give you in your... now, there are a couple of things I don't know. You do can keep... if you do keep all the items on your characters, of course. But I don't know if your cars will come with you. That's the thing I don't know. I don't know if you get to keep your vehicles or if you need to start over and getting new vehicles or things like that. So just be aware of that. I don't know if your vehicles will transfer with you. I don't know. That's the one question I've never seen answered, I don't think. So I just wanted you to be aware of it just in case, so you don't have like stuff in your car that you wanted to keep by mistake and you just can't keep it, you know. So there you go there. I think also that you keep all your resources and everything, but when you move to a new base, all the things are not upgraded or built or anything. So your first priority most likely will be to get your storage up and running, because once you transfer, if your storage will go back down to level 1, that means you'll only have a certain amount of storage, and anything over that storage, eventually the game will just shed it. It'll just be dismissed. So, and that works just like it would be if you overstuffed your storage. So as you saw when I was doing the gameplay, we had ammo overcapped. And I went and took out rucksacks, because if I didn't, the game would have just deleted the overcap. And you always have, I would say, up to, I don't know, an hour of in-game time, maybe 2-3 hours of in-game time before it just sheds it. So you do have some leeway, but the first thing I would do if you wish to keep all your stuff, if you possibly can, is to upgrade your storage, unless you think you can just get it all back really quickly without having to worry about losing it. So that's that there. So that is the leader types, the legacy boons, and the kind of the missions. I don't want to spoil the missions for you. Like I said, if you wish to, you can come to the wiki and look them up yourselves. They are pretty involved. They are kind of tough, especially the sheriff and leader types. That's sheriff and warlord types, I would say. So yeah, I want to thank everybody for watching. I think the next video we're going to do is just go back to gameplay, because I think I've covered everything in here. I don't think there's anything else to really cover. We've already covered various hero bonuses that you can get, community skills. We've already covered a bunch of them. I think I've already gone over them pretty well. I guess I could go over them like I did the core skills, but there's not really anything extra. I think I'm going to hold off on this, and just when I get to the point where I can choose an upgrade, I will cover that in a little bit while I do that. Like right now in our community, we have agriculture, so I guess I'll go and cover gardening real quick. So gardening, of course, gives you the gardening skill. And the gardening skill allows you to make gardens and farms. The agriculture is one of the upgrades. It gives you knowledge of gardening, knowledge of agriculture, and +1 food per day. And then there is the herbalism, and it's for med production on the farm and gardens, and it gives you +1 med per day at level 7. And that is pretty much it. If we go to the knowledge of agriculture, it allows us to make upgrade 3 if we have also a trader leader and water. The garden just requires water. We do not have to have the trader leader. And they provide a farm food boost yield, increasing the boosting rate by 50%. The garden gets a 50% boost yield. Hydroponics get the 50% boost. And then the farm 3 improved production is where you get your +1 and plus another +1 on the garden food per day. So this gives you a food per day grant, and then when you have the farm 3 and the garden 3, you get another +1 on top of that for improved production when you have those built. So, but you have to have agriculture, of course, because that's how you make the farm and garden 3s. Farms are more output than the gardens, but the farms take up a large slot. The gardens take up a small slot. So that is how you choose there which way you wish to go. And survivors with agriculture can also provide your community with 2 to 3 bags of snacks occasionally. I'm going to be this is kind of redundant a little bit. I personally, before I would take gardening, I had to take it because I needed a 3rd person. But if I was going to choose somebody with gardening, I would completely pass on gardening and get a quirk skill called lynchology, which gives you knowledge of gardening and knowledge of herbalism, and it gives you +2 meds per day. I think this is better than just straight up gardening, agriculture, or herbalism. This just gives you herbalism straight up too, so it's one way to go. If you want agriculture, then fine, you can do that. But if you just want some kind of gardening deal, so you could use the garden 3 without having to do the farm 3, then you just need the lentology, knowledge of herbalism, because that allows you to do the farm 3 meds upgrade 3 and the garden meds upgrade 3. You just have to convert before you get to upgrade 3, and you'll be able to do upgrade 3 no problem. Because if you want to do food upgrade 3, I think you have to have the agricultural one. So there is that. And then you also have the facility action for the hydroponics to make medical herbs if you're going into the meds way. So yes. And then you get +1 meds and +1 meds. This is if you're going the medical route. If you're going to go the food route, then you definitely want the gardening and agriculture. But as a person who plays, food is a pretty easy to get resource, I feel, and gardening, the medical stuff, of course, leads into the very, very big currency boost that you can get with doing strong painkillers and things like that. So that's kind of why I would go into lynchology. But this does, if you can't find someone who has it, this does require, as you saw, 1,500 influence to buy its book. to teach it to someone. So do be aware of that is a thing there. So yes, well, that'll, and as soon as we get like the others, like right now I do have a medicine person. I'll go ahead and cover the people we have right now. So I do have a medical person. They are going to eventually become pathology, because I like that more than surgery. Surgery will give you 20 max health, offers medical advice, knowledge of medicine, knowledge of surgery, and surgery gives you combat medicine quirk, is a combat medicine quirk. Facility upgrades none. Facility actions, infirmary, field hospital, we can boost injury and trauma recovery, and we can primary care as injury severity reduction of max there. And the field hospital, if you have one of those, gives you special treatment options, physical therapy, reduced med cost to 6. And then the pathology gives you the extract plague samples more often, the medical advice, the knowledge of medicine, the knowledge of pathology. At level 7, it gives you plus 50% infection resistance, and the other things, and the knowledge of pathology, boost infection recovery at the infirmary / field hospital. Primary care adds plague resistance max to the infirmary, field hospital. Infection therapy reduces the cost to 1 plague sample. Prepare bulk plague and bulk plague cures reduce the plague samples cost by 40%. This is huge if you wish to try your hand at making bulk cures and then selling them as their luxury item. They are. Then there is the special treatments options. Infection therapy reduce the meds cost to 6. They have the mod boost. They can, when you have a pathology, the advanced biochem station also gets craft scent block, craft Zedi, and craft Zedrenalin. Reduces the plague samples cost of each and the chemicals of cost of each to those numbers. And then the anniversary cake oven, which I've never heard of. Bake anniversary cake reduces plague samples needed to 1. I've never run into this right here. That may come in the bounty hunter anniversary pack. I don't know. So there is that. That is this. The resistance and the plague samples more often is why I choose pathology over surgery. Health, great early on, but eventually these two things cancel that out, that extra health you would get. You would get so much more out of these two things than you would the health. So there is the medicine. We did have mechanics, but we don't know more. And did I start with somebody? I started with somebody else, and I cannot think of me for the life of me what they are. But we have the game right here, and since we're about to play pretty soon, I'm going to go ahead and go into the deal. Give me a second to go in, and then I'll turn it on so you can see. I have no mouse right now while it's loading. Let me turn on the deal so you can see.
I've still got something to take care of.
So we have Haley, who is our medicine. We have agriculture, which is our Chauvel, and Brian has no 5th skill. That's right. Okay. That's right. I started with the other one was the mechanic when we don't have the mechanic anymore. So as soon as I get a mechanic, I will continue it. I will cover the mechanics, and as soon as we get any other of these, I will cover them, and I will give you why I would choose what I'm going to choose while I have them. So there we go there. So I want to thank everybody for watching. We'll come back next time, and as you can see, we'll be playing the game finally again. So thank you for watching, and I'll see y'all then. Have a nice evening. Goodbye.